Welcome to the deep dive. We know you want to get smart, fast, without feeling totally overwhelmed. So today we're diving into something really vital. How the food you eat actually shapes how your brain works. We're talking focus, memory, just getting stuff done.
Exactly. And we've waded through a whole bunch of research looking at this, this link between nutrition and how well we think.
Okay.
Consider this our distilled version, the shortcut to figuring out how to eat for a sharper mind.
Right. So our mission here is pretty clear. Pull out the really important bits, the nuggets, that help you strategically use food to boost your brain power.
Yeah, we'll cover specific foods, key nutrients, even those daily eating habits that honestly can make a huge difference.
Okay, great. So let's start at the beginning. Why? Why does what we eat matter so much to our brains?
Well, think about it this way. Your brain is the command center, right, for everything. And it uses a ton of energy.
More than other organs.
Oh, yeah. It needs a constant, high-quality fuel supply just to function, just for thinking, remembering things, concentrating.
It's like putting the right gas in a performance car, I guess? You would just put anything in?
That's a perfect analogy. Exactly. The nutrients we get from food, they're the essential bits the brain needs to work at its best.
Okay.
And that directly impacts focus, concentration, cognitive performance all day long.
And I've heard it's not just about the fuel itself. There's something about gut health, too.
Ah, yes. That's a fascinating area. This gut-brain axis, it's like a two-way communication highway.
Okay.
The bacteria in your gut, your microbiota, they're not just sitting there. They actually produce chemicals, things like neurotransmitters.
Really, the same stuff the brain uses.
Yep, things that regulate mood, emotions. So if your gut is healthy and thriving, it can genuinely contribute to, a clearer, more balanced mind.
Wow.
Think about eating fiber-rich foods, maybe probiotics. It's not just for digestion. You're feeding that second brain, too. It influences mood, clarity.
So good food means a happier gut and a sharper brain. It makes sense.
Okay,
Oh, let's get into those key nutrients then. Where do we start?
let's kick off with omega-3 fatty acids. You hear about them constantly.
All the time. Fish oil, seeds.
Exactly, and for good reason.
Yeah.
They are absolutely fundamental for brain health. You find them in fatty fish salmon, trout, tuna, herring. Sardines are great sources.
Okay.
And also plant-based stuff like walnuts, flax seeds, chia seeds.
So what is it about omega-3s? What makes them so critical?
Well, get this. About 60% of your brain is actually fat.
60%?
Yeah. And omega-3s make up a big chunk of that structure. They're literally the building blocks for brain cells, nerve cells.
Okay, so starch.
And they're vital for learning, for memory. Research even suggests that getting enough omega-3s might help slow down that sort of age-related mental decline, and maybe even offer some protection against things like Alzheimer's and stroke.
That's pretty significant.
It is. So a really practical step. Try to get some fatty fish in your diet, maybe, twice a week or so. It can make a real difference for memory and focus.
Definitely adding salmon to my shopping list. Okay, next up, caffeine. My personal favorite focus booster, I have to admit.
Huh? You and millions of others. Caffeine in coffee, chocolate, some energy drinks, green tea too. It works in a few interesting ways.
How so?
Primarily, it increases alertness because it blocks something called adenosine. Adenosine is what naturally builds up and tells your body, hey, time to slow down, get sleepy.
Ah, so caffeine basically intercepts that signal?
Pretty much. It can also give your mood a little lift by boosting dopamine, that pleasure and motivation neurotransmitter.
Right.
And studies do show it can sharpen concentration, give you those short-term bumps in attention.
So my morning coffee isn't just wishful thinking. But are there longer-term things too? I feel like I've heard that.
Yeah, there's some interesting research suggesting that regular long-term coffee drinking might be linked to a lower risk of diseases like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's.
Really? Why?
Possibly because of the antioxidants in coffee, but moderation is key.
Of course.
Too much caffeine or having it too late in the day can mess with your sleep. And sleep is absolutely critical for brain function. You don't want to disrupt that.
Right, diminishing returns.
Right.
Is there a point where it becomes negative, like
Yeah.
really high intake?
Oh, definitely. Excessive caffeine can lead to anxiety, jitters, rapid heartbeat, sleep problems, all things that ultimately hurt your brain, health, and focus. It's about finding your personal sweet spot.
Makes total sense.
Mm.
Okay, moving on. Antioxidants. You mentioned them with coffee, but blueberries always come up here too.
They really do. Blueberries and other deep-colored berries are packed with these things called anthocyanins. They're powerful antioxidants, and they have anti-inflammatory effects too.
Okay.
But antioxidants are in lots of foods. Broccoli, turmeric, that's curcumin pumpkin seeds, dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate. Good news.
Ha, yes. Flavonoids in dark chocolate. Nuts have vitamin E, oranges have vitamin C, green tea has polyphenols. They all act like protectors for your brain cells.
Protectors from what?
From damage caused by unstable molecules called free radicals. It's called oxidative stress. Think of antioxidants as like a little defense squad for your brain cells.
So they keep the cells healthy, resilient.
Exactly. And they might even help slow down brain aging and improve how brain cells talk to each other. Some even help make neurotransmitters.
That's quite a list of benefits. What about B vitamins? I always
Mm-hmm.
associate those with energy.
And you're right, too. B vitamins, you find them in whole grains, leafy greens, eggs, lean meats, fortified cereals. They are crucial for energy production everywhere, including the brain. And they also help regulate those key neurotransmitters for focus and concentration. Specifically, B6, B12, and folate are really important players in energy metabolism and brain function.
Okay.
There's even research suggesting they might help slow cognitive decline in older adults, partly by affecting levels of something called homocysteine.
Homocysteine.
Yeah, high levels aren't great for the brain. And interestingly, not getting enough folate or B12 has also been linked with a higher risk of depression.
Wow, so they're involved in a lot: energy, focus, mood, aging.
They really are. Getting a good range of B vitamins is super important.
Okay, noted. What's next? Choline. That one's less familiar to me.
Choline is a big one, especially found in eggs. It's vital for making acetylcholine.
Acetylcholine. What does that do?
It's a key neurotransmitter for regulating mood and memory. Studies suggest higher choline intake might link to better memory and mental function overall.
Another reason to like eggs for breakfast.
Yeah.
Okay, vitamin K. I always think blood clotting for that one.
It is essential for blood clotting, you're right, but it also plays a role in the brain. You get it from broccoli, leafy greens,
Right.
and it's needed to form something called sphingolipids.
Fingo what?
Sphingolipids. Think of them like dense fat molecules packed into brain cell membranes, like insulation on wiring, helping signals travel efficiently.
Oh, okay.
And research in older adults links getting more vitamin K with better memory and cognitive status.
So broccoli's a double whammy then. Antioxidants and vitamin K. Nice. What about pumpkin seeds? You mentioned them for antioxidants, but anything else?
Oh yeah, pumpkin seeds are little powerhouses. They're great sources of several important minerals: zinc, magnesium, copper, and iron.
Okay, break those down for me. Why do we need them?
Well, zinc is crucial for nerve signaling. Not enough zinc is linked to neurological issues. Magnesium is essential for learning and memory. Low levels are seen in many neurological diseases. Copper helps control nerve signals too, and imbalances might raise the risk of neurodegenerative disorders. And iron. Well, iron deficiency is famous for causing brain fog and just generally impairing brain function.
So a handful of pumpkin seeds is a pretty good brain snack then.
Surprisingly beneficial, yes. Easy to grab too.
Okay, what about protein? I think muscles, mostly.
It builds muscle, absolutely, but protein breaks down into amino acids, right?
Right.
And those amino acids are the fundamental building blocks for neurotransmitters, those chemical messengers we keep talking about.
Ah, okay. So you need protein to make the messengers.
Exactly. Getting enough protein, lean meats, poultry, fish, plant sources like beans and lentils supports brain function and focus by providing the raw materials.
Got it. And lastly, on the nutrient list, glucose. Brain fuel number one, right?
Right.
But there's a catch.
That's right. Glucose, which we get from carbohydrates, is the brain's preferred energy source. But the type of carbs matters a lot.
How so?
Complex carbs, things like whole grains, fruits, vegetables, they provide a nice, steady release of glucose, sustained energy for the brain.
Okay.
Simple carbs, on the other hand, sugary drinks, white bread, candy, they cause a rapid spike in blood sugar.
The sugar rush.
Exactly, followed by the inevitable crash. That leaves you feeling unfocused, sluggish. The brain much prefers that slow, steady stream of energy.
Right, complex carbs for steady brain power. Makes sense. Okay, so we know the key players now. How do we actually use this? How do we build eating habits that boost focus and productivity day to day?
That's the crucial part, translating the knowledge. And strategic habits can make a huge difference. First off, breakfast.
Don't skip it.
Please don't skip it. Starting the day with a balanced breakfast. Think protein, whole grains, healthy fats is so important for refueling the brain after you've been fasting all night.
Right.
Studies consistently show eating breakfast improves short-term memory and attention.
Yeah, I can imagine skipping it would not lead to a productive morning.
It really doesn't help. Also, think about when you eat. Aiming for regular, maybe smaller meals throughout the day helps keep your blood sugar stable.
Avoids those energy dips.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Prevents the energy dips and that irritability that can just completely derail your focus.
I definitely feel that mid-afternoon slump sometimes if I haven't eaten right. What about snacks between meals?
Snacking can be great if it's smart snacking. Reach for brain-boosting options. A handful of nuts or seeds, some berries, maybe a square of dark chocolate.
Yes.
Or even a hard-boiled egg. Way better than sugary or processed stuff that gives you nothing useful and often leads to that crash later.
Makes sense. Anything else habit-wise?
Hydration. We often forget this one. Drinking enough water, aim for that classic 8 cups a day as a rough guide, is vital.
Why water specifically for the brain?
Because dehydration, even mild dehydration, significantly impairs cognitive performance. It can leave you feeling foggy, less sharp, unable to concentrate.
Absolutely true. I noticed that difference.
And one more habit, mindful eating.
What does that mean exactly?
Just paying attention when you eat, being present, savoring the food, listening to your body's hunger and fullness cues.
Okay.
It helps you make healthier choices, improves digestion, which, as we discussed with the gut-brain axis, indirectly supports brain function. Personally, when I slow down and actually focus on eating, I enjoy it more, feel more satisfied, and I'm less likely to overeat and feel sluggish later.
Being more present and intentional. I like that. Okay, we've talked good stuff. What about the flip side? Things to maybe limit or avoid if we want sharp focus.
Definitely some things to be mindful of. Too much sugar is a big one. Leads to those blood sugar swings, energy crashes, and over time, it might even impair memory.
Right, the sugar roller coaster.
Exactly. High salt intake can lead to dehydration, which we just said is bad for productivity, and foods high in saturated fats. Some research links them to decreased productivity, increased fatigue, maybe by affecting certain hormones that make you feel sleepy.
So maybe lay off the heavy, greasy lunch if you have an important afternoon.
Probably a good idea.
Right.
And we touched on caffeine moderation is key. Too much causes jitters, anxiety, messes with sleep, all bad for focus.
Right.
And alcohol, well, its negative impact on cognitive function is pretty well known.
Right.
Definitely something to avoid during working hours if you need to be productive.
No surprises there. Okay, this is all fantastic info. But making it happen in a busy life? Any practical tips? How do we actually do this?
Good question. It needs to be practical. Meal planning can be a lifesaver. Just planning out your week's meals makes grocery shopping easier and means you actually have the healthy stuff on hand.
Takes the guesswork out.
Exactly. Prepping lunches or snacks in advance is also huge, especially if you're busy or on the go. Makes it easy to grab something good.
Instead of reaching for whatever's convenient but maybe not great.
Precisely. The main goal should always be prioritizing whole, unprocessed foods as much as possible. And, don't be afraid to experiment. Try new recipes, incorporate different nutrient-rich foods. Small steps add up.
Practical, achievable steps. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, as we wrap up this deep dive, what are the main things you want people listening to take away about food and their brain?
I think the biggest thing is just recognizing that powerful, direct connection. What you eat really affects how well your brain works.
This is not just theory.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Specific nutrients, those omega-3s, antioxidants, B vitamins we talked about, they play critical roles in focus, memory, overall performance.
Right.
And adopting those strategic habits, balanced breakfast, regular meals, smart snacks, staying hydrated, that can significantly boost your daily productivity and support your brain health long term. It's about actively choosing the good stuff.
So it's really about consciously fueling our brains so they can perform at their best.
Exactly. Making these choices, incorporating these foods and habits, it's a genuine investment in your cognitive abilities, your focus, your overall brain health.
This has been incredibly helpful, really showing how much control we can have over our brain power just by choosing what's on our plate. So for you listening, maybe think about this. Which one of these strategies feels like something you could actually try today? Maybe it's just adding some berries to your yogurt, or packing some nuts for that 3 p.m. slump, or even just keeping a water bottle on your desk. Pay attention. See how even small changes might affect your focus, your energy. It really is a personal journey, finding what fuels your brain best. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.